Hey, what up? I'm MITUS, and this is another episode of Creased. Another one. That was terrible. Today we're going to be exploring a really different concept in the world of sneakers. Now, I remember a sneaker store asking like a survey. I can't remember which one, but let's say 2-3 years ago, right? They were asking, would you ever rent sneakers? And at the time, I felt like, no, I'll buy sneakers. If I want sneakers, I'll buy sneakers. I mean, right? I forget about that, and a few years go past, and myself, I was getting into photography, right? And a couple of ideas I had involved sneakers, because I do love sneakers. They're everywhere. They're taking over at this point. One of the ideas I had was to take a photo with a Jordan 1 X Off-White Chicago, which sells for crazy amounts of money. And I don't feel like paying that just for a photo. I came across a guy who was in sneaker groups, and he was advertising his website where you could, in fact, rent sneakers. And the prices were cheap, but I had some questions. I was genuinely curious about the whole thing. So I hit him up, and I just wanted to get an idea of it. I told him about the channel. I was like, yo, can we do like some sort of feature? He's like, yeah, I'll send you something. He's like, initially he was like, what would you like to be sent? And I said, look, surprise me. Obviously, the crazier the sneaker, the better it's going to be for the video. I did mention that I've never really worn a pair of Yeezys or owned a pair of Yeezys, even like held a pair of Yeezys in my hands. And there have been a couple of colorways recently that I was interested in. He mentioned he had Dunks, Jordans, Yeezys, Balenciagas, some other high fashion stuff that probably aren't for me, but for the sake of the video might be cool. So I think this could be a good idea as well for, say in my case, there's been a few Yeezys that I've been interested in recently, but I'm hearing all different types of things with the sizing. When it comes to the slides, I'm a size 10 and a US 12 won't fit me. Not that I want a pair of Yeezy slides at all. I think they're the worst thing I've ever seen. But there's, I think, is it the Yeezy 700 MVNs, the couple of 350s I'm not mad at, but from what I'm told, the sizing is all over the place. So imagine, let's say, I think retail is about is 300 to 400 on certain Yeezys. So, and a lot of places won't accept the return for them. They classify it as a launch item, and they basically figure you're a reseller. You're gonna try and sell them, you can't, you send them back. People probably do that. I have no doubt they do that. Someone like me, I want to try them on, and let's say I do win or I am able to cop, and then it just doesn't fit. It's like, what do I do then? Right now, we're gonna cut to unboxing whatever Malcolm has sent me, because I have no idea. Like, I just said send me something crazy, right? Because it's gonna make for a better video. And you'll see that right now. Okay, so like I have literally no idea what's in this box. Nothing. Like I said, we spoke and we wanted it to be a surprise, so that's what we're doing. What it could be. Okay, what do we got? Man, some Balenciagas. Okay. They're not dead stock. So we can actually wear these ones, because the whole idea is to wear them, right? Man, these are a crazy shoe. They're not really something I would wear, and that was the whole point. I was like, you know, send me something I wouldn't usually wear. We spoke about Yeezys, we spoke about, he did mention Balenciagas, but I didn't think he would send these. Man, let's get them out of the package. Oh, okay, that's not as ridiculous as I thought. I don't know what to say. These are, what size are they? Are they my size? I don't know even where to look on a pair of Balenciagas. It's got 44 on the toe box, so I'm guessing 44 in Europe is, European sizing is a size 10. So I did say my size was a size 10. I've never seen these in person, I've never held them, and from everything I've been told is they weigh a ton, and they do weigh a ton. If I'm being honest, it's not something I would wear at all, but this is probably the best color I've seen in them, so all I can do is laugh. I was not expecting Balenciagas. I kind of was thinking, you know, they might send me some Yeezys, and I've never had Yeezys before, so I have no idea how they fit, look, or feel in person. Yeah, Balenciaga Triple S. Let's put these on. Alright, let's put these on. These are, man, they're so heavy. If you wore these all day, I feel like you may even have like ankle problems. You know, when they talk about like cement boots and shit, I feel like these are up there, man. You know, if this is your style, that's cool, but obviously you can see what my style is. It's more, you know, Jordans, Air Max, but let's see, man. Kick off the old Jordan slides. Tell you what, around the actual foot, it reminds me of like the old school Globes with all that cushioning around. It feels comfortable. Underfoot is a completely different thing. They feel like really hard underfoot. And what's crazy is, like, I'm a 10, right? These look like they're 14 or 15 on my foot. It's crazy. And they're not too big, it's just the size of that heel. I mean, look at it. You can hear the thuds when they hit the ground. Like, there is a lot going on here with these. But, you know, around the foot, around here, they are actually comfortable. Like, all the cushioning around here is very comfortable. I don't know if I can. I don't think they're my steez, man. Probably it is the best colorway I've seen, but so. Okay guys, I'd like to introduce you to Malcolm, who's going to tell you a little bit more about Xsauced.
All right, yeah. So Exhaust started primarily because, I grew up being on someone on the outside of sneaker culture. Like I always was around it. Grew up in sports. I grew up in the States. As you can tell by the accent. I grew up in Atlanta, so I grew up in a place that was very, very vibrant with culture, hip hop culture, sneakers, and I was always around it. But unfortunately, I was never able to actually be in it. And I think part of it growing up as an adult, I realized I want to create a way for more people to access it. And Exhaust was actually a combination of my younger brother, my co-founder, and we just saw what was happening with it. We wanted to make it a shareable experience because that's what sneakers were about. They were about looking what's on someone's feet, having that almost instant connection, right? Understanding that their vibe, understanding what they were doing, and we wanted to make that a thing and bring that back into the sneaker game because it was starting to get a little bit. I think the wrong people were getting involved. So we can talk about a completely different topic, but it started with that in mind to create this marketplace where you could try things before you could buy, right? You could actually experiment because that's what it's all about, right? It's all about the new drop. Do I like it? Do I not? That's the beauty in the sneaker game, that we've got so much choice now. So Exhaust is pretty much the intersection of sustainability. So thinking about why we buy what we buy, but also the opportunity to really access, any collector's closet. So the premise behind it was that there's so many drops happening, and we see it every week, really a new drop, so many L's being taken. But somehow some of these guys get a hold of these sneakers, and unfortunately, a lot of these guys don't necessarily always want them. They wear them for a few months, and there's an opportunity for us to hire them out.
So what type of people are essentially taking you up on the service? For me, I thought about, trying something on that I may never have tried before, like a Yeezy, something like that.
Look, I've had emerging artists, I've had people that just want to try before they buy, and even myself included, that just wants a broader rotation. It's a lot of access to that. So that's kind of version one of Exhaust. That's what we've been currently working on. But it's a community. It's a community of collectors, of sneaker enthusiasts, of people that are that are discovering sneaker culture and want to figure it out and want to learn and want to just get a better understanding of what's going on and I guess the experience of that. And so that's what Exhaust is there to do, make that process easier.
So how does it work?
It's pretty straightforward. The platform now, you can have two different roles. You can be a supplier, and that means you allow us to access your closet. So whether that's sneakers right now, we're getting into other streetwear and things like that. That's one end, and you obviously make money from hiring those items out. The other side is you can be a renter. And so what that allows you to do is have access to any sneaker on the platform. And you can hire it out for a minimum 3 days, maximum 8 days. And the benefit is there, it's a low risk way to try something, to get a fit you need, to just try a different colorway if you want to. So that's pretty much how it works. Everything's insured. Everything is UV sterilized between rentals. So we take care of all that. We pretty much view it as, if you want to be on the supply end, you discuss with us the type of returns you want from your sneaker. So we see it as just as much a way for you to get some of that value out of something sitting around, and also to do good for the community as well. So that's kind of the two big things that are at play. And look, we're happy to get into the detail. Reach out, drop my contact detail.
I love the fact that it's a community-based thing, and it is different. People look at it and they'll go, oh, it's renting shoes. But the way you break it down is it definitely paints a broader picture.
So part of the core features of Exhaust is the ability to try before you buy. So no one's dropping $700-800 on a pair of sneakers they've never even put on. You don't know how it fits. You don't know if it fits you. There's so many layers to creating a style that you need to figure that out. And the retail landscape currently doesn't offer that. So a part of it is leveraging our community to achieve that. I guess one of the core opportunities of Exhaust is this idea of like this ever expanding closet, right? So if you can imagine everyone across Australia, this ability to have what's in their closet, have the ability to not only tap into it. It's like a sneaker library in a sense, where whatever comes into it, whatever that individual's got access to, whatever they're interested in, you can have a piece of that without necessarily having a huge amount of money or space to store all these things. So it's a perfect way to experiment, to kind of keep a set of 5 to 10 in rotation. You got your core, your personals on the side. It's a really nice opportunity to do that. But I think the key and the part that was really interesting to me when I first started this is that the expansiveness and the ever-changing. It's not like you go to one store and you're fixed to whatever their stock is. I mean, you can get into customs, you can get into people creating, one of 50s. Like there's so much potential in actually having access to someone else's closet and what they're seeing and what they're currently interested in.
I feel like one of the biggest questions people were, that I saw on, say, Facebook, same place that I found it, were, what's going to stop people from just stealing the shoes or whatever? What security do you guys have in place for, say, yourselves and the people that are renting out their shoes?
I guess, I get a lot of questions around insurance, security. Oh, someone going to run off my sneakers, this, that, and the other. Look, I'm not going to say that it can't happen, but a part of our approach is there's essentially 3 factors to it. And actually, as we start to build version 2, we're integrating more digital features to essentially give you more security in it. But at a base level, you've got your traditional deposit, right? So someone's got to pay deposit or in collateral. So we know straight away that we're going to get somewhere between 20 and 30% of the value of that shoe if they do something, which most people don't, because most people are just, literally excited at the chance to have that sneaker and wear for the weekend and for their special occasion. So you have that. The second layer is we use what's called a nodal network. And the nodal network is essentially, when you come into Xsauced, it's invite only. So you have to be essentially invited by a current member. And what that member does is they form a node. And in that node, you guys are rewarded for good behavior. So if things are turned in on time, shoes are kept in good condition, you get positive take, and that unlocks other things for you. On the other side of it, if someone in your node does something, the shoes are either really dirty or they get beat up, then that impacts and cascades across the network. So maybe if you're 2 nodes over, or you're like a friend of a friend, you end up having to maybe be restricted for a week, or you've got to pay a higher premium. So the whole idea is we should be self-governing this system so that everyone benefits and no one actually has to pay the cost because things are taken care of. And then finally, if worst comes to worst, we have our own in-house insurance, so you're taken care of. So realistically, in any scenario, as a supplier, you're good, right? We're going to make sure, the whole idea is to make sure that these shoes, they last as long as possible. A lot of our members actually will hire out sneakers 3 to 5 times, decide that, okay, great, either I want to wear them again, or actually they sell them, because the condition they're in, and I've got, guys that can speak to that. It's a great way to just extract that extra value, allow someone an opportunity to try a sneaker, or, if you've taken an L, we all can be honest, we've all bought shoes that we don't wear. We've all bought shoes that we thought that they sounded great, but check them up on the platform, see how you go, see who's interested. And there's always someone out there that, that might've been the one that got away for them. So definitely take a chance to view it that way. I think for us, we're building this, we've been building it for about 1.5 years. COVID's kind of put things up and down. But the premise is we see a future where there is more of this bartering. There is more of this lending things out, particularly on hype stuff, because I'm not anti-brand, but I think there's a better way to spend our money than giving, $1,500 to Balenciaga. I think you can easily rent that item out for $40-50 for the weekend, have that look you need, or even just try that look, and it to be really meaningful, and it'd be an opportunity for you to save money, keep money in your pocket. We know how it is. I mean, it's COVID, and COVID's probably not going anywhere anytime soon. So just being more mindful, but also still being able to flex. And that's the whole game, and that's kind of why I got into it. How can we be frugal, but still have the looks that we need, and still have a decent rotation? And that relies on this idea of community.
Just touch on with COVID and how you guys are maneuvering through that. And in terms of hygiene, are these shoes being cleaned before they're rented to someone else, or what's the deal with that?
Now, I also get questions, I should have said earlier, I get questions around the UV sterilization process. And that, for a lot of people, it seems novel. It's actually something that's been used for ages, right? The technology isn't anything new, but essentially it's a 2-hour process. This shoe is UV sterilizing the inside that kills, the whole 99.9% of bacteria in there. Also, at the same time, the equipment that I use dries it as well. So we get rid of all the moisture, UV sterilized, and then immediately once the sneaker is done the inside, I vacuum seal that, and it's airlocked, right? So there's no additional moisture bacteria can grow. That's done in the shipping process, right? So if it doesn't get exposed to any moisture, rain, whatever, the shoes are protected, not only on the outside, but also on the inside to reduce any issues with that. And look, that's the best way to do it. I mean, I see it as a much more sterile process than you probably ever get, touching anything public use. I mean, you imagine the doorknobs, the handles. I think the pandemic's been a really interesting, test case of all the, the germ-infested places we touch. Sneakers, on the other hand, there is a process, and it's very very seamless, very easy, and it's very efficient. So that's what we use. Outside, any minor stains, we waterproof it. We're also working on a partnership with Sneaker Spa Sydney. So if you guys are familiar with them down in Sydney, we're doing a kind of get your shoe ready for renting out. So if you got a pair that you want to get protected, you want to get cleaned up, ready to go, we got a discount code. We can point you in the right direction of that. But yeah, we're working with anybody to kind of help streamline the process and give you guys access to different services all around this kind of sneaker ecosystem.
I'd just like to say, thank you for my experience, because you know that unboxing, that random experience, I feel like that's something that everyone should be able to replicate. I think you said that you're going to be offering that sort of service where they can just tell you your size and you know you can get a random shoe, yeah?
Another really interesting point, and good thing Midas brought it up. So he actually was one of the first to trial this whole random drop experience, where we give you a sneaker, you give us your size, you kind of give us a bit of a taste for what you're into, what you want to experiment with. We actually drop you a random sneaker, right? And you just rock it for the weekend. You can give us reviews. You can just flex. And the whole idea is it just adds a bit of excitement. You know, kind of changes the whole feeling of randomness. But then you get shitty outcome, like taking an L on every app that's out there. But it was an awesome experience for him, and he can definitely speak to kind of the feeling of not knowing what you're going to get and then being pleasantly surprised, because our collection and the sneakers we have are quite expansive and it's growing. So it's a pretty cool feature. We'll probably build that into the subscription part of it, right? So you can pay a certain amount a month and get a really cool drop whenever you need it. So we're definitely looking at that.
Yeah, man. Like, there's absolutely no way I would have ever even held a pair of Balenciagas in my hand. I'm a Jordan guy, it is what it is, but the experience was fun. It was fun, and trying them on, they are super heavy, but it is what it is. So what does the future entail for Xsauced? Like, where's the ceiling? Is there a ceiling? Where do you guys see yourself in, say, like a year or two?
I mean, obviously everyone's adapting. The whole world's adapting to COVID and things like, for us, the big thing is version 2. So you'll see right now, if you hop on, it's like version 1.3. Version 2 is actually going to be our blockchain initiative. So what we're trying to do is we're not only interested in sneakers, but we're interested in cultural assets. What I mean by that, we're looking at collectibles, we're looking at watches. We see a future where the community shares and trades and essentially invests in each other's items. So version 2 for us will actually be, and the projected launch date is December. So we're in the process of building that. Is going to be a blockchain marketplace that allows the transfer of assets. So for example, I'm into sneakers, but I want to get into watches, or actually I'm into Yeezys and I want to get into someone's Jordan collection. We're going to allow you to tokenize that, right? Tokenize your collection and through this digital uploading to the blockchain, and allow you to essentially invest. We'll have our own Xsauced coin to invest into someone else's collection. So the ability in that is, as a collector, you can open up your collection to people, and the benefits of that is you get a injection of cash right straight there without having to sell your collection necessarily. You can, it just out of coolness, right? You can have fans and admirers that have a bit of your collection if that's what you're into. And you can also choose, if there's sneakers that you want to get rid of, you can start to hire those out to those other members. So you can have someone invested in your collection that you can hire out, and they can try it. So that's kind of one side. The other side is if you want to shift what I consider asset classes, you can shift from sneakers to watches to handbags to whatever you're into without having to just completely liquidate your collection. So the idea is that we've become this pivot or this bridge between your physical and digital assets and allowing you to kind of travel this whole ecosystem. So version 2 is big. It's huge. There's going to be NFTs involved if you guys are in that space. There's going to be a lot happening. But yeah, I mean, we're definitely in this wave of transitioning the physical to the digital and creating access for people. Like, I just think there's so many things around culture that have become so hyped and so inaccessible and so rigged. And it's like, chances are someone in your community has that sneaker, has that item. We're just unlocking a really safe, a trustworthy way to have that exchange happen.
Man, thank you for coming on, explaining everything so elegantly as you have put. Thanks for also sending me those shoes. That was a pretty crazy experience, and no doubt we'll do some more things in the future.
Awesome, man. Glad to be a part of it. Glad to kind of build with you, and definitely this is a pretty cool journey. We'll definitely have some other talks in the future, and happy to break down anything. Happy to get into depth about what we're working on, how you guys can play a role in it. If there's other collectors out there, if there's other people that are interested in really how it works. I'm setting up a Discord channel. We can hop in there. We can chop it up. I'm always around. So definitely.
There you have it. I got sent some absolutely crazy sneakers by the guys at Xsauced. Shout outs to Malcolm. He came on, explained everything. And, we might do a couple more videos. Maybe, I know I've said I'm not going to be an unboxing channel, but that was just so much fun. Like, honestly, I was laughing the whole time. Crazy. I have said before that me personally, for like photo shoots, things like that, it'd be cool to get access to certain things that I'm just not going to spend the money on. So this is obviously an avenue for that. And I'm sure in terms of people wanting to try on shoes, which Malcolm mentioned, perfect, right? This has been another episode of Creased Tea. Make sure you check out all the details for Xsauced below, and we'll see you on another episode of Creased Tea.